Hi guys, in this video I'll be showing you 4 different techniques to paint polka dots onto your nails. Now polka dots are one of the easiest ways to create nail art yourself, and in this tutorial I will show you 2 ways that will require specific tools that you're going to need to buy, and 2 ways that will use items that you should have lying around at home to create the dots. To start, I've got a dry base of white nail polish. This one is 2 coats of Cert Colours Carpe Diem with no top coat. You can apply a top coat if you're short on time or you don't want to wreck them by bumping them, but I let mine dry completely before adding any dots. The 4 different tools that I'll be using are a gel pen, a dotting tool, a toothpick, and a sewing needle that I've pressed into a pencil eraser to give me more control and something to hold on to a little better. First up is the Uniball Signo gel pen. I got mine from Officeworks here in Australia, but they are available worldwide, so check your local office supply or stationery store for them. These are amazing for nail art and they don't smear at all when a top coat is applied, unlike the way that some polish can. This is the fine tip gel pen in black, but they also sell them in white and a variety of different other colours. To apply the dots using the gel pen, you simply press the pen tip onto the nail and lift up, leaving a bubble of gel ink on the nail. As you can see, it's probably the easiest way to apply dots. You'll need to be careful that you don't touch the ink before it dries completely, as it will smear while it's still wet, and to check if it's dried you can lightly touch your fingertip to the ink, and if it's dried it won't transfer onto your skin, so you can go ahead and add a top coat. Without applying a top coat, the ink's going to wash off, so you're going to need to seal it down. I'm using Glistening Glow HK Girl Fast Drying Top Coat, and it's one of my favourites. As you can see, none of the ink smudges as I apply the top coat, and they're now sealed under the top coat so they won't come off. The other 3 techniques are going to need polish, so I like to get a scrap piece of paper like this envelope to act as a palette. What I do is get the polish that I'm dotting with and add a drop onto the paper. I'll be using OPI Black Onyx for my dots to keep them the same colour as the gel pen dots so we can compare. Next up, we're going to use a dotting tool that I got from eBay. This is a brush handle dotting tool, unlike the double-ended ones that are more common. I chose this one since it's the smallest that I own. Get your polish and add a dot to the paper that you're using as a palette, and then taking your dotting tool, dab the end into the drop of polish and start applying the dots to the nail. I like to work line by line to keep the dots even. It's at this point that the polish drops started to dry out for me, so I don't want to use it too much longer or it will start leaving strings of polish on my nail. Here you can see how stringy the polish can become, so if you continue to use it the dots will be messy. So get your polish and add another dot to continue from. Side by side you can see that the gel pen dots are a lot smaller than the dotting tool dots. You can create smaller dots with the dotting tool, but that requires a lot more of an expert level of dotting, in which you slightly press the polish to the nail and pull away without actually touching the dotting tool to the nail. Here is the size I was doing on my nail, and here is the smaller, more advanced dots. You can really see the difference between the full press and the slight touch of the dotting tool in the size of the dots. Next up, we're going to be using the toothpick. The toothpick's a lot similar to the dotting tool, but you won't need to buy a dotting tool and probably have a toothpick laying around at home. Add a new drop of polish to the paper and apply the dots in the same way that you did with the dotting tool. As you can see, the dots are varied in size, with some being small and the others being larger. I don't like this technique personally because it's harder to remove the polish from the end of the toothpick than it is the dotting tool. The dotting tool is metal, so it's able to be cleaned in polish remover as you go, but the toothpick you can only wipe off the excess polish, so it makes the end change size slightly. Lastly, we have the sewing needle in the pencil eraser. Again, add a new drop of polish onto the paper and add the dots to your nail. The result is basically the same as the toothpick, I think, in that the dots are varied in size. And here's all 4 together. The Signo Uniball pen, the dotting tool, the toothpick, and the sewing needle. The pen's my favourite by far. It's less messy, it's easier to use, and it creates the most even polka dots. You can even use the pen and draw small circles to create bigger polka dots if you need larger ones, as these are quite small. The dotting tool I think would have looked a little bit better if I hadn't placed them so close together, if it was a little bit more spread out since they're a little bit larger. But it really shows the difference of size that you can get with a dotting tool and a gel pen. The toothpick is too varied for me. You have small and large dots and it's like two different tools we used, but it is a good substitute if you don't want to or you can't buy a dotting tool or a gel pen. The same thing goes with the sewing needle. The dots are too varied for my liking, but if you don't have a dotting tool, it works well enough. Obviously it all comes down to personal preference and what your budget will allow or your ability to actually get the tools, but I do recommend investing in some gel pens or dotting tools to do dotted nail art with. As you can see, they do make a lot of difference. Let me know in the comments what you prefer to do dotted nail art with and which one you think looks the best. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.